Small and mighty or loud and rowdy? With the JBL Charge 6 now on the scene, a lot of you noticed its new design borrows some cues from its larger sibling, the Xtreme 4. However, despite the family resemblance, these two speakers have some key differences when it comes to hardware and connectivity. So let's get into what really sets them apart to help you decide which one is right for you. Starting with the design, both speakers follow JBL's familiar football-style design that are built to withstand the great outdoors. The Charge 6, which sells for $199, is the more compact and smaller of the two, weighing just over 2 pounds. It's a little easier to toss in your backpack or hold in one hand, so it's great for personal listening around the house or when it's just you and a few friends at the beach. The Xtreme 4, on the other hand, is not just beefier, it's pricier too. Coming in at $379 and weighing a little over 4 pounds, this thing will pretty much take up your entire backpack. So instead, JBL gives you this nice long shoulder strap, complete with a built-in bottle opener. That should tell you exactly what kind of party JBL expects you to bring the Xtreme 4 to. Both speakers are fully dustproof and water resistant, but while the Xtreme 4 features an IP67 rating, the Charge 6 features an IP68, meaning it can be submerged a little further into water, up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. Now, unless you're constantly having pool parties, maybe you live on a boat, there's no huge difference on day-to-day basis. Both are well protected from the elements, including a dip in the pool. Now, controls are identical between the two. You get raised playback buttons that are pretty easy to find, even in the dark, plus a backlit control strip for the Auracast, power, and Bluetooth buttons. Now, as far as connectivity goes, the Charge 6 uses Bluetooth 5.4, but the Xtreme 4 uses Bluetooth 5.3. In theory, the Charge 6 should offer slightly better connection performance and range thanks to that newer Bluetooth standard, but honestly, you're not going to notice a huge difference compared to the Xtreme 4 in everyday use. Both speakers also offer multi-point if you want to connect to 2 different devices at the same time and seamlessly switch back and forth between them. Now, in typical JBL fashion, you won't find any fancy Bluetooth codec support like AAC or LDAC. These speakers are SBC only. Personally, I don't mind because these are convenient portable speakers that will compete with the sound of the ocean waves, not to mention the chatter of your pals. You're not exactly critically listening in a soundproof room. That said, the Charge 6 pulls ahead in one key area here. It offers wired listening. No, it's not an aux-in, but it does support audio over USB-C, including lossless audio, which the Xtreme 4 doesn't. So if you're looking to squeeze the best possible sound out of your portable speaker, the Charge 6 has the advantage. Now, while we're on the topic of connection, as I mentioned, both these speakers now use Auracast to wirelessly connect to other JBL speakers, and it's super easy to use. Just power up your second speaker and hit the Auracast button on each. You don't need to pair the second speaker to your phone, and they link up almost instantly. But here's where things get interesting because only one of these Auracast-enabled JBL speakers is backwards compatible with older models like the Charge 5 or the Flip 6 that still use Party Boost. So let's talk about how that plays out in the app. The JBL Portable app has some useful tools for both speakers, including customizable EQ settings. The Charge 6 gets a 7-band EQ for more precise tuning, while the Xtreme 4 offers a 5-band EQ, both of which are a step up from the 3-band EQ you'll find on Bose SoundLink speakers. You can also use the app to pair identical models for true stereo playback and manage any other connected JBL speakers from one place. Now, here's where things get a little tricky. As I mentioned earlier, both speakers use Auracast to link up with other JBL models, but so far, only the Xtreme 4 supports backwards compatibility with older Party Boost speakers like the Charge 5 or the Flip 6. So what's up with that, JBL? And trust me, I can already hear you in the comments. Yes, you can, Dave. You just need to do it in the app. Well, dude, I am in the app. When you're using the Charge 6 and try and link it to another speaker, it forces you to choose between Auracast and Party Boost. You can't do both at the same time like you can with the Xtreme 4. This means that you can't pair a Charge 6 with an older JBL speaker like the Charge 5 or the Flip 6. It only works with other Auracast supported models like the new Flip 7, the Clip 5, the Go 4, or of course, the Xtreme 4. The Xtreme 4, on the other hand, doesn't make you choose. You can link it to those older Party Boost speakers and new Auracast ones. So clearly it's possible. Honestly, this was a pretty big letdown for most users when the Charge 6 was announced. JBL showed us with the Xtreme 4 that backwards compatibility can be done, so it's kind of a head scratcher as to why they left this feature out of the Charge 6. I wouldn't hold your breath for a firmware update either. As of 2025, it's pretty clear. JBL is going all in on Auracast, So if you're planning to build a multi-speaker setup, make sure you're picking models that speak the same language. When it comes to battery life, the gap is slowly closing between these two models, but the Xtreme 4 still takes the win here, and for a few good reasons. The Charge 6 is rated for 24 hours of playback on a full charge. If you turn on Playtime Boost, which cuts down the bass to conserve power, JBL states you can bump that up to 28 hours. That's plenty for a few days of light use or a long weekend camping trip. The Xtreme 4 also advertises 24 hours of playback, but Playtime Boost adds an extra 6 hours, bringing the total to 30. But wait, there's more. First off, the Xtreme 4 lets you swap out the battery packs. You can buy extras from JBL for about $100 each. If you're heading off grid or you just want peace of mind for all day use, that's a big plus for convenience. And while the Xtreme 4 isn't cheap, it is built to last. If you're investing in a speaker like this that you want to keep for years to come, you'll never have to stress about the internal battery wearing out. You can just replace it and keep on going. Second, JBL includes an AC to USB-C power cable, which, if you're near an outlet, allows you to plug in for essentially unlimited playback! And a wattage boost.
Somebody dying in here?
That leads us into sound quality, but a quick note before we go there. Just like the Charge 6, the Xtreme 4's USB-C port can also charge your phone or other devices like camp lights or your earbuds. Always a nice bonus to have when you're out and about. Okay, let's talk about sound quality. The Charge 6 and the Xtreme 4 sound noticeably different, and that comes down to their size, driver setup, and output power. The Charge 6 is a mono speaker rated at 45 watts with one tweeter and one woofer, while the Xtreme 4 stepped things up, offering stereo playback with dual tweeters and dual woofers. It's also worth noting that while the Xtreme 4 is rated for 100 watts of output, that's only when it's plugged into a power source using that included AC to USB-C cable. When it's running on battery, how you typically use it outdoors, the power drops to 70 watts. Now, when I'm out camping, the Charge is plenty for my needs. I simply want to enhance the campfire vibes with some laid-back tunes from Tommy Guerrero or Steely Dan, but if I have a handful of other pals showing up, each with a cooler full of beer, I'm for sure reaching for the Xtreme 4 and queuing up Van Halen's 1984. Because the Xtreme 4 is physically larger, packs more drivers, it naturally delivers a much more powerful sound, which includes a hefty bass response. It also gets significantly louder, making the Xtreme 4 the obvious choice for larger spaces, outdoor parties, especially if you lean into bass-heavy genres like hip-hop, EDM, or if you're a rocker like me and you simply want those kick drums extra punchy. That said, the Charge 6 fits nicely into smaller rooms or casual listening scenarios when it's just you and a few friends. It's more portable, but still delivers decent sound and bass response for its size, which you can modify further thanks to that 7-band EQ. Just keep in mind that due to its mono performance, you won't get much left to right separation if you're listening to more heavily produced music. Both speakers are solid, and the right pick really depends on your priorities. Portability and convenience in smaller group hangs? Go Charge 6. Power, bass, and party vibes? Go for the Xtreme 4. Let me know in the comments which one you're gonna go for, and if you're not convinced either of these speakers is right for you, you can check out my video on the smaller JBL Flip 7 if you want something even more portable, or alternatively, if you need a true party starter and you aren't concerned about portability, you can check out my video on the Party Box Stage 320 right over there. That way. Happy listening.